I need that because we get off track really easily. So that'll give me just enough time to give you this overview, okay? So I want to tell you, I guess Sarah's got it, but I'm going to just keep rolling. I want to tell you about, and by the way, this is a common problem. There's just so much that it's like fire. We're trying to take a drink from a fire hose. We have time. So I'm not stressed about time. Like, we'll totally get through it.
Not yet.
Yeah. But I want to tell you a little bit about we're going to go like big picture philosophy for just a minute, so we have an understanding of big picture practical life. I mean, not practical life. I'm sorry, big picture positive discipline. There's sort of the practical side of it, and then the philosophical side. And I'm going to go philosophical for 15 minutes, or probably about 12 minutes now. But Adler was a psychologist, or actually wasn't even a psychologist. I think he was an eye doctor. Around the same time as Freud, and I don't want to go all psychology on you here, but what we know about Freud is he thought behavior was driven by sexual motivation, or envy, or whatever, right? We know a bit about Freud. And Adler kind of was a peer, and used to go to meetings with Freud and went, yeah, I don't think so. and was really bold enough to say, I think behavior is purpose-driven, but it's not driven by what you think it is. He said it's driven by the need for belonging and significance. Everything we do is pulling us, not even pushing, but pulling us towards belonging and significance. And I'm not just talking children, I'm saying people, right? So he thought behavior is always purposeful. We always do things for a purpose. We never are just in this stagnant place. Stagnation has purpose too, or it isn't really stagnation. You're probably just moving backwards. So if the goal is belonging and significance, really a lot of times when we look at positive discipline, it'll come back to this iceberg metaphor where we have to see that whatever behavior we are observing in a peer, a spouse, a child, is actually driven by something we can't see, and that's the belief behind that behavior. And unfortunately, the belief is not always accurate. So children are amazing observers, but they're not great at taking what they've observed and interpreting it accurately. And then because of that interpretation, they make a decision and form a belief. So let me give you an example. A child is born, it's an only child, okay? And they have these doting parents and these doting grandparents. And it's a pretty happy child, maybe a little coddled, but what beliefs does that child have about adults?
They love me.
They love me.
I can do no wrong. I'm perfect.
Okay?
Not that
And
I'm
they
an
go
only
for
child.
years like this, and these beliefs get pretty big. And not all beliefs are inaccurate. Okay? So they do love you, and I am perfect in their mind, to some degree of perfect. I'm imperfectly perfect. Okay, so then sibling comes along. And what do they observe?
My sibling's also perfect. My sibling's also loved by adults.
Okay?
Maybe I'm not.
Even on a tangible, really, like that's more belief. What do they observe in behaviors of adults around them?
Less attention given to them.
This baby is getting a lot of attention. That's right. They don't pay attention to me as much. What are other observations they're making?
I'm now expected to do more, probably have more responsibility.
Okay? And so because of that, what are the interpretations they're making?
I'm not loved as much as I used to be.
Okay? I'm not as important, I'm not as loved, okay? And now their behavior adjusts. So now they make a decision and act upon that decision. And here's what we know about humans. They pretty much, once a belief, I'm not loved as much, I'm not as important, we all do this. As soon as we have that belief, we only take in data that supports that belief. So we do it all the time. Like when we're annoyed at our spouse, all we see is their annoying behavior, you know? Or your kid's moody and now all you really are taking in moods. And so this child, they're only noticing, see, I was reading a book with mommy and mommy got up to go get the crying baby. Daddy was playing with me and then daddy had to go, you know? And yet they're not taking in the data that said, but wait, daddy just played with you for 40 minutes. All they're doing is building the belief around the filter that I'm not important.
So,
And so this grows into a monster.
if the parent is highly verbal and says, "Oh my gosh, we've been playing a really long time and it's been so fun. I now need to transition because I'm hearing the baby cry, but we'll have that time again soon because I love you."
Uh-huh.
Does that shrink the belief system, or?
What do you think? What do you think?
I mean,
There's no wrong
my
or-
feeling it would be yes,
Yeah,
but
yeah.
My feeling would be yes.
And if the goal is belonging and significance, then it's either helping clarify, but there's no guarantees. The child might just hear that as a big giant but. I love you, but I can't believe you. And so it might be, I hear the baby. Should we go together and see what's up? Would you like to help me change the diaper? You know, so that belonging and significance, one of the best things we could do is build in, involve me, notice me, let me help you, kind of thing. So, but you can't do that every time.
yeah.
I mean, sometimes the baby just has to be fed. There's no way around it. And so it's not like that one circumstance is going to define the child for the rest of their life.
Yeah.
But if they're hearing it over and over and over again,
It's
you
a-
can see how these beliefs get formed. Now let's take that to the school. Let's say these kids are coming to you and they haven't had great experiences at school. They right now have a belief about what teachers are. Or if the child doesn't have a great home life, they're making belief systems about adults in general. And if mom is not real kind and or dad is not real kind, or even extend that grandma's not real kind, they've made a beliefs about adults. And if you come in and you're really kind, that's very discrepant to their belief about adults. And they'll doubt you. They won't believe you for a while. Because they're like, nope, this doesn't fit my belief of what adult females do. And they'll push hard on you for a while. That's good to know. So anyway, what Adler said is, I want to kind of wrap this up, is that because this belief we can't make them unbelieve it. We can't change their behavior. We can only change ours. We can't totally define this for them. This is very private. This is referred to as your private logic. And when we see it through the examples of, you know, some of, like we just went through the example with the sibling rivalry, you can see why that belief gets formed. It's pretty logical. So it's private logic. And because of this belief, they have these misguided ideas that then drive behavior in a misguided way. In other words, now they're going to get their needs met for belonging and significance in a misguided way. That's misbehavior. Misbehavior is really behavior that's logical, driven by a misunderstanding or a misguided belief. And when we really see through the world through the eyes of the child with that private logic, and we'll never know that private logic, but when we can sort of speculate it, misbehavior makes a lot of sense. What common practices are as classroom management is trying to chip away at the behavior, trying to fix the behavior.
What about when you let that child down?
Mhm.
How do you rectify, you know what I mean? Because you feel like you filled up their wall, like, oh, yep.
Yeah.
fair.
Oh, let me give you an example. So my daughter this just happened, but I think it'll tell you. My daughter got a scholarship to a school, a really expensive scholarship. It's amazing that she got this, okay. So she leaves in a couple weeks, and my other daughter, who's younger, she's a sophomore this year, they were talking about these really cute sister things and how much they're gonna miss each other and how they're already agreeing now that for Christmas they're gonna exchange pajamas and like, it's just super cute. They were having this cute sister conversation. And I think I said something along the lines of, oh, Elise, I want you to go there too. Like this idea of, I want you guys to have another year together. This is not, I don't want this to be over, is really my message. But later I thought about that and I was like, whoa, I just put it, that could be misperceived as by her, as mom is comparing me to Emily, and now I have this expectation that I'm supposed to go get a scholarship too, and anything short of that, I'm gonna be letting her down. Now, if she was full of comparisons in her life, I could see how she could perceive that, right? But I was talking with Emily, my older one, and we were just discussing, I don't even remember how it came up, all the high expectations she has for herself, and how the college landscape is changing, and we have no idea what kind of opportunities will be there for younger sister Elise. And that's when it really hit me like hardcore. Oh my gosh, I have to clarify with Elise. So I actually just went back to Elise and said, something's been bugging me, and I want to own that, I just want to own it and say, I'm really sorry. I don't know how you heard it, but I would like to share with you how I meant that statement. And then she was like, oh, Mom, please, and totally let me off the hook and almost mocked me for being so concerned. But I just went back and said, whoa, I have to clarify. We do that with kids all the time. But here's what we don't want to do. What's my time?
3:26.
Here's what we don't want to do is ever, so we can go and clarify, we can go and apologize, but don't ever put a but in there. A but tries to excuse our behavior. Here's an example. Kelly, I'm so sorry for snapping at you. I just had not had my coffee yet this morning, and I just wasn't myself. I just excused my behavior. Whereas, Kelly, I'm really sorry that I was short with you this morning, and I will work at doing things different in the future when I feel under pressure. Like, I just own it. No excuses, and we do it to kids all the time. I'm so sorry I snapped at you. I had like 3 kids around me. I just excused my behavior. We don't really want their excuses either, any more than they want ours, and we do it all the time. And that reinforces that belief. Well, she says it, but... Yeah. So, this is a powerful metaphor that I really want to have you guys think about overnight. It's probably a good stopping point. There's lots more I could add to it. But how we're going to chip away, not even chip away, but how we're going to address the belief, and not really the behavior, but we want to work on the belief, is several tools. But a couple main tools that I'll leave you with is this idea of encouragement. And we're going to talk about encouragement strategies that are real specific, very scripted, very authentic and real, but we're going to work on some real specific techniques on encouragement. The other way is mutual respect. And mutual respect is going to show up as kindness and firmness at the same time. The kindness in that your needs will be met, and the firmness is that my needs will also be met, and the needs of the situation. And often people tend towards one or the other, or they flip-flop. And so we're going to talk about, tomorrow we'll talk about kindness and firmness, which really is what brings out mutual respect. So that's how we'll address, when we're looking at positive discipline strategies in the classroom, I want us to kind of go back to is how are we working on this with not only kids but also each other. How we talk to each other. We'd be working on this, the belief that we have as humans, as adults, as teachers, as whatever we are. Okay? So, let me just see if there's anything else. Let me just finish with 2 other thoughts about Adler. Is that this kindness and, no, I can say that for tomorrow, but the 2 other pieces is re-examining that mistakes are opportunities to learn. And in fact, if you look at the red list, it's in doing those things and us addressing those behaviors with this understanding and with encouragement and with kindness and firmness is how those behaviors turn into the green list. You just don't come, life isn't all just happiness. It's actually in the stressors and the mistakes that we do our most learning, how we move from one list to the next. So we almost want to see the red list as opportunities to learn. If we don't have those, it's a little harder to get all the green. And then the last thing I want to end with is the idea that a lot of times positive discipline, if you've done it before, is associated with logical consequences, or just the word in general, consequences, logical or natural consequences. A lot of times love and logic, if you've heard that, has been associated with positive discipline. And I'm going to push us further to say, actually, and as a school, as part of your culture here, is moving to, are we looking for consequences, which is like a way that you must pay, even if it's logical or reasonable? Are we looking for solutions? Are we looking to react, or are we looking to proact? Pay for the behavior, get the behavior to stop for the future. And it's a real interesting mindset, and that's what Adler really was about. So, anyway, that's probably a good place to stop. Oh, thank you. It's a lot of talking at you. I prefer not to do so much talking at you. Okay, so.
You said those react, or what was the other one?
React or be proactive,